Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we got some more My Hero Academia The Strongest Hero content for you. And as always, if you could go plus ultra, go down and hit that like and subscribe button for me. All your support on the channel will be very much appreciated. But we're back on Zoro's Twitter. I do advise you follow this guy. His data mine and leaks are incredibly useful for My Hero. And as always, I will leave the link in the description down below for you so you can go check his Twitter out and go drop him a follow. But we're going to be talking about Stain and potentially upcoming heroes, villains, more so villains, but characters coming soon. We kind of touched on it in the last video. You know, I'll literally show you here, literally this video here. We touched upon it. We talked about it. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Stain, and I know it seems incredibly obvious that Stain was coming next, but we'll read. I think this is on Discord, which, by the way, I don't have Discord up, but I'm not in his Discord or anything. It's just up. Like, I'm gonna close it. Yeah. So I think this is Discord. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't use it often, but I'm pretty sure that's Discord. So at leaks. So in the files, it seems to be that Stain is the Lex Limited character, which we kind of, I guess, kind of knew anyway. I say knew. He goes on to say what I'm about to touch upon, which is, but beware that the devs like to shit on the table, so maybe they're going to surprise us with Shiga, of course, Shiga being Shigaraki, or Darby instead. And this is something that I mentioned a few times, is that with Global being its own thing, being its own, you know, its own entity, like the devs have stated before, that Global is its own thing, even though it's the same game, not completely, but even though it's based off the same game as TW and CN, it's his own thing. So they've the main gacha game I play apart from this is Dokkan. Like, I don't really play Legends. I played it for a bit, and I've touched upon some other ones and not really got into them. I used to play a bit of Blazing back in the day. But the main thing with Global Dokkan that I see with the one that I still play is global devs sometimes like to switch up the order, change things around with when things are released, like on Dokkan when it comes for certain celebrations come in, sometimes joint celebrations with the Japanese side of the game, or just in general, just unit drops. Like, for example, like as Zoro says here, Stain, it seems to be in the files that Stain is the next limited character, which we kind of suspected anyway, and we kind of, it's like we almost knew. But as I said, Global is his own thing, so it's not, they're not always going to follow the timeline of TW and CN. Always, that's not how it's going to work. Sometimes they could easily just switch things up. Like as he says here, they could drop a surprise and drop Shigaraki instead of Stain. They could drop Darby instead of Stain. They could drop both of these before Stain. But from what he says, it seems in the files that Stain is definitely going to be the next character. But of course, with Global being its own thing away from TW and CN, they could easily change it up and go, here's Shigaraki, here's Darby, or here's Darby, then Shigaraki, and Stain comes last. Simple as that. Just remember that. Keep that in mind if you are paying attention to the other side of the games. You can see content that will probably eventually drop on the Global side of the game, or characters that will drop on the Global side of the game. That doesn't mean Global devs will follow the same order. Always remember that. Always remember that they can switch up the timeline, switch up the way they do things if they so please. Yeah, if you were still wondering, if you're still thinking who's coming next, is it definitely going to be Stain? Is it Stain? I'm not sure. You know, if you fall in that bracket, it does seem incredibly likely Stain is going to be the next character, as Zoro puts here. But another thing that I want to mention as well, which we talked about in the last video, which is Villain Month, which, by the way, I found out that Villain Month is as I said in the Clint Wolf video that I watched, which, by the way, the little news bit was actually on Twitter. Like, that's my bad, but still, I got the point across. Villain Month I mentioned comes from DC, which I saw in the Clint Wolf video, which he talked about, and apparently that's in September. And obviously, right now we're in July. Aizawa's here for a week. We'll probably get a week break where we currently Bakugo is going to be coming as like the special banner, you know, thing they do in between, and then Stain's probably going to come afterwards. So I do potentially suspect, and it does look likely, you know, with Shigaraki and Darby, that potentially Shigaraki and Darby will be coming in August for Villain Month. If they're not doing it in September the same as DC does, it does look incredibly likely that they could do that, unless, as Zoro puts here, and as I said before, they could switch up and bring Shigaraki or Darby forward, and then have Stain after them or after one of them. So if they do follow the same timeline at the moment, Stain will be coming next after Aizawa, while that Bakugo banner is out, that special Bakugo banner they do for S-rank characters of the Class 1A banner. Then after Stain, during the month of August, for Villain Month, if they do decide to do Villain Month straight after July, we are looking at probably Shigaraki and Darby as the 2 units there for Villain Month, and then whatever content they decide to release in between on the game. Which I hope they bring more content to the game. It'll be kind of fun and more stuff to do on the game if they have like villain inspired events and stuff for awards. I mean, let me know if you want to see something like that down in the comments. But if they do stick to it and they don't decide to switch up, or as Zoro puts here, shit on the table by surprise example with Shigaraki or Darby, which I wouldn't even mind because I really want Darby. Darby is so cool. But I would actually really want him. But if he isn't coming next, I don't really mind because it gives me more time to save. I know Stain's really good as well. I don't know about Shigaraki. As I said, I only know a few things when it comes to TW and CN. But it does look like we are definitely getting Stain next, as we speculated. And then after, if they do follow the same timeline as TW and CN, and following the villain month they're planning for in August, if they decide to do it then rather than September like DC, Shigaraki and Darby could be both dropped in August, unless they decide to switch something up there as well, which again they could easily and possibly do. Yeah, that seems what the global devs are doing for the what's coming up next. Stain is definitely coming. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Are you going to be something for Stain? Would you like Shigaraki or Darby to be brought forward instead of Stain? Are you looking forward to both of those units coming out as well? Let me know down in the comments, all of that stuff. Are you going to be summoning for Stain? Are you going to wait for Darby and Shigaraki? Going to wait for one of them? Would you want them to be brought forward? I personally wouldn't mind, but it gives me more time to save for Derby. But yeah, so just a quick one for you. As always, as I said, link in the description down below for Zora's Twitter. Make sure you go follow him if you want to see any data mines and leaks. But I'm going to end this one here, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!